all across the country. So I am just one person, but these things are replicated throughout the country. So if someone is interested, we can get them hooked up with whoever. But I do things like they're called leaderboards. And really what it is an opportunity to do it through peer-to-peer networking. So an individual says, I have an affinity to that and like childhood cancer, and I want to help raise money for resources and research. And I'm like, wonderful. And then I help them to be able to reach out to their network to collect money. And I give them the stuff. I really can't help them by holding their hand as much as I can. And we have fun along the way. I do kooky, crazy things, of course, but it's all for a good cause, but it's very manageable for them. And it's a time frame. Usually it's like a month. So we do that. We've done a lot of things with our determination area, which is all the health and wellness, whether it's a walk challenge, a run challenge. So we've got amazing things coming up. Lots of opportunities for giving around, like, if someone's listening and they're with a company and they're looking for a way to invest, or if maybe you've retired and you have wealth that you are ready to, to find an area for. We're doing a lot of big projects, but they need the big funding, and they're around health equity, and really being able to move the needle in that area. So that's something I think is, vitally important. I mentioned our advocacy side. That's our American Cancer Society Cancer Action Network. And if somebody doesn't understand what happens when you're a nonprofit like we are, we're called what's deemed as a 501c3. And separate from that, we have our other organization, the Cancer Action Network, because it's a lobbying organization, it's an advocacy organization. And for tax purposes, there's crossover that you can't have. So you have the two separate entities, but they work together under both Dr. K. So on the advocacy side, I know people are listening who maybe have been frustrated with some of the laws in our community. So we do it in each state. Every single state in the United States has a Cancer Action Network team. And then we have our national team that goes to DC. But like in Massachusetts, we were very influential in the vaping laws changing around access to menthol for children. Connecticut has been extremely, and we work with other nonprofits, like we were looking at sugary sodas. So each of the Cancer Action Networks take on the initiatives in their states that make sense, but volunteers are needed to help because we have to call the legislators. So people might be interested in that. So money is super important, but money is only part of it, because the money has to be purposeful. So I want somebody to want to give because they want to be a part of it. Like the check is great, but how do we then take that check and make sure that your employees are engaged? Or maybe you're going to do a major gift when you pass away and you want to put that into your plans. We can work with you on all that, but what do we do now to make sure that you're healthy and safe and that you have a good, long, prosperous life? It's not like we don't
want your money any sooner, right?
Yeah, we're willing to wait.
Yeah.
It's just, the organization is phenomenal. We're our own best kept secret, and hopefully Dr. K is helping with that. As long as
Dr. K, we don't want that. We don't want that, Dr. K. What can we do? And that's the thing is, when I'm by no means going out and buying myself a second mansion, since I don't have my first yet. So
soon, honey, soon.
It will be. This will be the podcast that puts me over. But I think that it's important to remember that time is just as valuable to charitable events and causes as your money. Because if you don't have money, but you have a little time, whether it's to do something from home, do some data entry, or to go out and help with something, or stuff envelopes, or show up at an event and be the runner getting all the water for the guests to keep bringing them to the table. Those are the things that if you don't have to pay someone to do that, that means it can go to research.
Right. We're earning money. Yeah.
Right. So the way that you show up for charities is just as important. Going out,
I say
and
time,
to someone,
treasure, and talent.
Okay.
There's, because some people, and what you have today might be different than what you have tomorrow.
Ooh,
so
yeah.
Today you might have a ton of time, and then tomorrow you might get hired for that like super crazy gig you've been waiting for, and now all of a sudden you don't have the time, but you have much more treasure,
right,
or
because
maybe
of this podcast.
Yeah,
because
exactly.
This podcast is going to tip me over, and now I'm going to just send you checks. Yeah,
well, that works
no
for
more
me.
Volunteering,
as long as I can come sun with you at your beach house.
Okay, you may.
We'll go on our yacht together.
That's right. We have not met yet in person, so that seems like a good reason. So I think that I think that is very, very important for people to remember is, not that you're all coming to my beach house, but that they need time, treasure, and talent. And all of those are equally valuable because
at the end of
leads to the other.
At the end of the day, I have this, and I got to figure out a way to market this, and I probably shouldn't say it because somebody's going to steal it on me. Please don't steal it on me if you're listening. I want to change the spelling of the word relationship to relationship, because I feel like that's the thing. And I feel like that in life, right? Like, I think for me, COVID really, really put the final like cap on it for me. It's about figuring out how to have real, authentic relationships. And I laugh. There's a friend of mine. Her name's Yvonne Alston. She runs a diversity inclusion company. She's amazing. And she says, I'm unapologetically authentic. And I love that because, my mom was gone at 55. I mean, I'm 46. God willing, I am here on my 56th. But if not, if tomorrow is my day, what do I want to be known for? And if I'm not me, then I didn't live my best life.
Yeah, people can't describe me accurately, which is usually loud. Then, did I even do anything while I was here? I recently did that because, when I entered my 50s, I'm like, I'm unapologetically Liza. I started saying that too, because why am I trying to tone myself down? Mm-hmm. And that's something that we should bring to our charitable causes, which is why I'm doing this. This is a marketing podcast. If you came here for marketing, heard this, you might have skipped over it. That's fine. But maybe you're like, you know what? I'll listen. I'm driving. It's the next episode. I can't reach the button. So if you,
or oh my God, it's Jill Monson and she's fabulous. No, I'm just kidding. So
that's when they first hear my voice, they might skip it. When they hear Jill's voice. So I know. So we're having like a self-deprecation competition. This is great. So I think that it's important to bring your personality to your causes so that people know how sincere you are about that, bringing this back full circle to my nonsense. So that's why I'm glad I had you on. That's why I'm glad we talked about this. And I want you to tell me how people can get to the wellness and the
I'm just going to give it out the easiest way because people probably are driving. Cancer.org. Can't be any easier than that, right? So on cancer.org, there's a search feature. You can search for anything you want, and it will give you, we've got so much. Also, our National Cancer Information Center, that's our hub. It's open 24/7, 365. There's a human on the other end of the phone. I'm not going to give the phone number out because people are usually driving and they can't get it. But when you go to cancer.org, you can get the 800 number. What I want you to understand.
We'll put that in the show notes too, in my group.
There's no bot at the other end. Like there's also a live chat and it's a person you're chatting with. You're not chatting with an AI feature. These are people that we employ in our country who are there literally 24/7, 365 to help you. So if you have a question or if you're lonely, maybe you live by yourself and you have a diagnosis and it's 3:00 in the morning and it's Martin Luther King Day and you're not going to see your coworkers, you know what? Call NCIC, connect with somebody because you should never feel that you're alone. That's what we're there to help you do.
And see, who would know that unless they were told that by someone like you or
they listen to the podcast.
Yeah. Yes. But I mean, that's why I want to do this because I didn't know that. So and I think that's so important because when I used to work in a customer service center, we used to have old people call and just want to talk. They just called the 800 number and just wanted to talk. And I had nothing to do with them buying anything from us. And how do you hang up on people like that? Well, they tell me they're sick and they're alone. And and that's wonderful that there's a resource there. Yep. Everyone should put that number up on their call centers and say, if you get somebody like that, tell them to call this number because how many places do you have to refer someone to like that? That's wonderful. So much valuable information. They're all going to be going on cancer.org and searching your name because be like, who is this?
I don't even know if I show up if they search, but I am on LinkedIn. So please, if you would like, I love connecting with people, but this is my one request. If you heard about it and you want to connect with me on LinkedIn, just when you check the button to connect, just make a little message that this is where you heard me, because otherwise I don't accept it. If I have no connections to you, it means I don't know you. So if you just say, I heard you on Liza's podcast. Okay, great. Then you're in the circle of trust. So yeah.
Oh, wonderful. Thank you. That's good to know. I think I'm already connected to you. Otherwise, I would do that today.
I think we
So
are. I hope.
I hope we are. My
I hope we
goodness,
are.
that would be a fail if I hadn't. All right. So thank you so much for being here today.
Before you
Thank you
hang
so
up,
much
can
for
I
taking the
ask you
time.
a marketing question?
Yes, because if I don't know how the answer, I can just edit it out. Go
No,
ahead.
no, you'll
I'm
stop.
just
You'll have the
kidding.
answer
I'm
because it's
just
your.
kidding.
I just want your opinion. So I've been out of the marketing game. I owned an agency. I've been out of the marketing game for a little while, and I joke. My brother sells radio advertising, and so we talk about how these days advertising is everywhere. You can, from the placemat on the table to the blimp in the sky, everything in between. There's advertising, and there's so many opportunities. And then there's a lot of confusion between advertising and marketing, and they're like all smashed around. And then you also now have this whole kind of bubble of influencer. So I guess I just ask you, how does somebody know when they have a business and they want to start talking about their plans? How do they know where to start? Like what's the first thing you say they should figure out or do besides call you? I mean, that would be first.
First, they should call me to ask that. You know, I get a lot of this, that people just want to give you one question and say, just tell me how to start. But
No,
everybody has to start a different place. Well, I know, but to answer the question, everybody has to start a different place.
Okay.
But the first thing is just start. Just start. If you're trying to DIY this, just get on there and just start. You know, nobody's going to tell you you're completely wrong for doing it. But if you're not sure, think about where your audience is. Like, where do you go for this kind of service, or where would someone come to you? Right. So like for me, because I'm mostly talking to business owners, I have a group on Facebook, but I also have a group on LinkedIn so that I'm catching all of the demographics of business owners. But if you're not trying to talk to business owners or people in professional capacity about what you do, then you're going to want to be on Facebook or Instagram. Influencers is a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
But, you know, I think that I think
love
influencers is a great thing, because again, you're leveraging somebody else's relationship with an audience that would dovetail with your audience. So yeah, there's no simple answer. I wish there was
but that was a great
bullet, don't we all, right?
I know that was a great answer. And that's exactly, I think, where I would go. I struggle. I remember a client who had, they sold Buicks and GMCs, and they said they wanted to be on TikTok. And I was like, oh, okay. What are we going to be doing on TikTok? And does the, 18 to 24-year-old demographic that is the primary TikTok, user, I don't know the exact numbers off the top of my head, but are they buying an $80,000 Buick? Like, who's your audience and where
you're
is
selling those to the you're selling the used cars to the 18 to 24. Yeah.
So I love that answer. Figure out who your audience is. And also don't just market where you like. Like I had clients who'd be like, they're on the classic rock station because that's what they listen to, but their audience was young women. But the owner was a 6-year-old man, so he liked to listen to the Led Zeppelin. I'm like, well, that's great. Listen to it all you want, but that's not where the people that are going to buy your thing are listening, right? So You're spot on, Liza. Great job. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. That's my endorsement from Jill, everybody. Thank you. Not planned. So I really do appreciate you coming on, though, seriously. And this has been enlightening for me. And I hope it's been enlightening for everybody else, so that we get some kind of, awareness of what else charities do besides just raise money and then put it somewhere. What else do they do? Where does that money go? And it's not just one thing. And I think people are so used to seeing the American Cancer Society logo, but not seeing, like you said, advertise it, et cetera, that, we know it's got to do with not smoking. We know it's got to do with, other research, but let's get the word out there. Talk about what you heard about here today with your friends, with your family. Tell them, hey, I didn't know that the American Cancer Society did this, that one thing that popped out for you, and start a discussion. And maybe we can get this to go viral this way, verbally.
If nothing else, my mom would be very happy. So thank you.
Well, I want to make your mom happy, and my father-in-law and my friends. Here's the TMI moments. You'll want to get off before I say this. One of the things that I do every 5 years is get my colonoscopy, because my friend did not. And Tina is not with us now, and she would want me to do that. And it's a funny thing to say, this is what I'm doing for my friend. And
proper screening.
Yes. Please. And I get all the other things. We have skin cancer in my family, like we're riddled with it. So I get checked every time and every year. These are not things that you just put off. you
And
know?
fight with your doctor. If they say, so my mom, her final cancer, they told us was a